And now it's time for the omnibus edition of Waggoners Walk. Last Sunday, Jeremy went round to Minden Road to have lunch with Peter and the other half of his family.
Hey, Jeremy, careful of those plates.
I am being careful, aren't I, Daddy?
You're being a very good helper. Is there anything else to come out of the dining room?
Only the twins. Jane's a very sloppy eater, isn't she?
Well, I don't suppose you were much better at her age.
Does anybody else want that last slice of lemon meringue pie?
Don't tell me you're still hungry.
Well, no, I haven't got room. But I could have it later on, if you like. When we've had a walk. It'll sort of take everything down a bit.
Well, I tell you what, you can take it back to the old bakery and have it for Papa. How about that?
Can I really? Fantastic. I don't suppose Mummy will have time to do me a proper supper tonight if she's got to look after Alexis.
What do you mean? Why should she have to look after Alexis?
Is he ill?
Well, not ill. He just broke his leg. Matt said we're all going to write things on his plaster cast, like signing autographs.
Alexis has a broken leg? How did that happen?
Well, it was when... he fell down the stairs. That's all.
Well, dear, poor Alexis.
I think he's all right now. Anyway, where are we going this afternoon, Daddy?
Well, I thought the Heath, unless you've got any better suggestions.
Well, I'll tell you where I'd really like to go. To the boatyard. I haven't seen Mr. Tully for ages.
Oh, that's an idea. All right, Liz.
Well, he may not be there on a Sunday afternoon.
He generally is. Can't seem to stay away from the place. I don't blame him.
Like son, like father. It's not much fun for the girls, is it?
Oh, they'll be okay. I told Abby about it. She wants to go. She's never been before.
No, but all the same, the idea of trying to keep an eye on all four of you and stop you from falling into the canal.
I'll look after them. Don't worry.
You were the one who fell in the first time.
Oh, please, Liz. We'll be very careful.
I don't believe you meant to leave the water jug on the table, did you?
Oh, thank you, Father.
I thought I'd better remove it in case it got knocked over. The girls have a way of pulling on the tablecloth. You wash, Peter, and I'll wipe.
You, Father? Why not?
Why not? I'm not entirely incapacitated, you know. Jeremy can put away. That's if he still remembers where everything goes after all this time. Well, young man?
Yes, all right. But, Liz, we can go to the boatyard, can't we? Please.
Honestly, it's not much of an outing for the twins.
Well, couldn't they sit in the car and wait for us?
No, they couldn't. I suppose I'll have to stay at home.
But I want to show you the boatyard as well. You've got to come.
I suggest you leave the girls here with me. I'll be perfectly happy to look after them.
Oh, thank you, Arthur.
Father, are you quite, do you think...
Are you suggesting I'm not capable of looking after two small children for an hour or so? Anyone would think I was in my dotage.
No, not at all. I simply wondered whether you were feeling quite well. You seem somehow, not quite yourself today.
Can't think what you mean. I never felt better in my life. Well, come along. I can't wipe if you don't wash.
Well, it's very nice to see you. I told you last time we met. You're welcome any time.
And it isn't the whole family. We left the twins at home, in case they fell in.
But I see you brought one of your sisters along today. Aren't you going to introduce us?
Oh, yes. This is Abby. Abby, this is Mr. Tully.
I'm pleased to meet you, Abby. Do we shake hands?
Go on.
Oh, she's a bit overwhelmed at the moment, I'm afraid.
Well, it's not surprising, is it? I mean, meeting strangers in a strange place. It's understandable.
No, she's just being silly. I told her all about you.
You want to see the boat, said you, Abby? She'll be fine once she's had a look around.
We all want to look round. Liz hasn't been here before either.
Well, we'll put that right, won't we? I'll give you a guided tour of the yard myself.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Hey, can I show them, Mr. Tully? I know where everything is now.
Steady on, old son. It's up to Mr. Tully.
Why not? If that's what you want. Fair division of labour. Now, you show the ladies round while I put the kettle on and make a cup of tea. Now, how does that sound?
Oh, brilliant. Come on, Liz.
Abby, you hold my hand. I don't want you running off and disappearing.
Mr. Tyson, if you could spare a moment.
Oh, yes, Mr. Tully, of course. You go ahead, Jeremy. I'll catch you up presently.
Well, don't be long.
Funny, really, you're dropping in like this. The fact is, I was going to ask you a favour.
Ah, the VAT returns. You having trouble with them again?
No, it's not the VAT this time, Mr. Tyson. It's the annual accounts. I've been sitting up half the night sweating over the darn things, but
Well,
I
I
can't...
thought you had a regular accountant who did all that for you.
Oh, I have. That's the whole trouble, you see. The books have to be ready for the accountants to work on by the end of the month. And the thing is, I seem to have got a bit behind somehow.
Well, go on, Claire. Say something.
I don't know what to say. I was waiting for you to say something.
Well, I don't know what to say either. The whole thing's just... Well, it's unreal. I mean, an offer like that right out of the blue.
Why hadn't Nicola given you any clue beforehand? No hints at all that she was going to offer you the job?
As far as I was concerned, this weekend we were going to Bath to discuss my novel. Nothing more than that.
Yeah, but when you met her in London for lunch that day, she didn't talk about this magazine at all.
Not a word.
Do you think a cup of tea might help?
Well, somehow, my love, I don't think a cup of tea is going to make all that much difference when it comes to deciding my future career.
I was only remembering something about hot, sweet tea in cases of shock.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't really fancy staggering along the corridor. We'll wait till we get home, shall we?
Yes, home sweet home. All these years we've taken it for granted that we'd be living in Waggoners Walk for the rest of our lives.
Well, I suppose there's no cast iron reason why I should live and work in London forever. And I'm not committed to Hampstead.
How about the Herald? You are committed to that, aren't you?
I don't know. Well, I suppose I'm committed to being an editor. It's the job I know best. It's something I understand.
But a new monthly magazine. Quieter pace, perhaps?
That does have its attraction. And the money's good.
And we both love Bath. Beautiful. I mean, there's nowhere quite like it.
There's nowhere like London either. And that's where all our ties are. And friends, family. Don't know anyone in Bath except Nicola.
That wouldn't last long, though, would it?
No. But Joanna's in London, Tony and Kirsten. Could you really see yourself saying goodbye to the champ?
Well, Bath's no distance. There's a motorway and these intercity trains.
We'd have to sell the house, find somewhere to live down there. New school for Sue Old Claire. Oh, it's such an enormous decision to make.
Nicola was very reasonable about that. She knows you need time to think it over.
Yes, but we haven't got all that much time, have we? I mean, ideally, she wanted me to start in a month. 2 at the outside. And by the terms of my contract, I'd have to give the Herald 3 months' notice. Do you realize what's happening next Thursday?
Your birthday?
Yeah, my 50th birthday. Ironic, isn't it? 50. The age when most people start to think about settling down. Freewheeling for the last 15 years before they retire and go off into the sunset. And here I am being asked to start on a completely new life.
Not I. We.
Oh.
It's not something you're going to have to do on your own, mind. It's whether you go or stay. We'll be doing it together.
A lot of work to be done, I know. I'm afraid I've let the accounts slip behind a bit.
But you've got a secretary.
Oh, a girl that comes in the mornings, but she's not really up to it. Tell you the truth, I'm not up to it either. I've never had to do it till now, you know. My father took charge of all that. He built up this business from scratch. And by the time I got my demob from the Navy, well, he'd got things going.
Did you always want to join it?
Yes, man. Boats are my life. Always have been. Sailing them, building them, repairs. That was my strong suit. Old Dad, well, he knew the ropes. But he had a business head on him as well.
And now he's retired, I suppose.
Retired? Oh, not him. He always said he'd work till he dropped, and that's what he did. Just over a year ago now, November 78. He got a bit of a cold on his chest. He never bothered about it, just went on working. But then he started this cough. I never would have believed it would happen so quick. Since then, I've been trying to run the place on my own, keeping it going like I'd have done. But it's not easy.
No. Well, look, if you'd like me to give you a hand making out these accounts...
Oh, I know it's a lot to ask. You're a busy man. You don't have the time.
I could make the time, I expect. Between you and me, Mr. Tully, I think I'd rather enjoy it.
Enjoy it? Adding up rows of figures? Hey, better you than me.
Yeah, it's a sort of challenge. Prove to myself my brain isn't entirely devoted to buying fish fingers and cooking baked beans. Besides,
Yes?
well, I'm not going to go on forever working at home looking after the family, you know. That's never been intended as a permanent arrangement.
And then you'll go back to your job at, where was it? One of the big stores.
Yes, Abercrombie's. Well, I don't know. I suppose I'd look around for something in the same line. Still, that's all very much in the future. Meanwhile, I could always drop in 1 or 2 evenings a week just to get these books up to date.
Oh, I'd be very grateful to you if you would. Hello, Jeremy. I didn't see you there.
I came back to find out how much longer you were going to be, Daddy.
Oh, sorry, Jeremy. Mr. Tully and I got talking.
Yes, I know. Well,
Hey, it's a good job you reminded me.
What time is it?
Just gone 3, according to the church clock. You can just hear it when there's no traffic about.
Oh, there's London, like a village.
Well, I guess that's what it is. A lot of villages strung together.
We'd miss it terribly, wouldn't we?
I suppose so. On the other hand, well, this is how I've been ever since we got to bed. On the one hand this, on the other hand that. Mind if I put the light on? Why don't I make us a hot drink? And then we can both decide what I'll say to Milton Monk tomorrow when I give him my notice. Okay?
If that's really what you want.
It's ridiculous to say I've got a birthday next Thursday and it's all come too late. I mean, that's all the more reason for me to do it. How many other people get a surprise present like this? To Mike Nash, on his 50th birthday. A whole new life. With many happy returns.
Is Mr. Nash still there?
Yes,
Has he finished his cup of tea?
yes.
Good. Send him in, will you?
Oh, good afternoon, Milton.
Oh, hello, Mark. Come in, my dear chap. Come and sit down. Sorry to keep you waiting, but you know how it is. This is one of my busy days.
Yes, and I'm adding to your list of problems.
Not at all. Always a pleasure to see you, Mark, any time. You know that. But I understand from my secretary that it's rather urgent.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mark. I'm listening.
Well, I'm afraid this is going to come as something of a surprise. Well, it was a surprise to me as well. But I've been offered another job.
Hi.
Oh, you wouldn't know them.
Mike, I know every paper in the street. Who's been getting at you?
Well, it's not a newspaper job at all. No, it's the editorship of a provincial magazine called Hedgerow, published by a firm in the West Country and aimed at a readership of men and women who don't live in the big urban area.
Circulation?
Small, but rising. And, well, the publishers want to give it a boost, and they've approached me to take it over.
Mike, it'll never amount to a row of beans. Not by real commercial standards.
Perhaps not. But it interests me. And I think it's right for me.
What are they offering you?
Oh, they're being generous. It's almost a little more than I'm getting now.
I can match that offer.
Oh, well, I'm not asking for a rise, Milton. No, the money isn't the important thing in this case.
Oh.
No, I like the sound of the job. It would give me time to relax a little and work on my own writing more. I'm halfway into another novel, by the way.
First one didn't exactly set the world on fire, did it?
It's what I want to do.
I see. So, you're giving me 3 months' notice as per your contract.
Well, not exactly. I'm giving him my notice, but I'm also asking a favor.
Go on.
Well, they want me as soon as possible, in a month ideally, but I told them that was out of the question, of course. I hoped we could strike a compromise. How would you feel about letting me go at the end of 2 months?
Will you excuse me for a moment?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Monk.
I'll come and sign those urgent letters now. Bring Mr. Nash another cup of tea while he's waiting, would you? There's a good girl. I did warn you about a lot of things in the boil, didn't I? You'll have to be patient for just a few moments longer.
Ah! Damn and bloody blast!
Did you call, Matt?
No, I was simply expressing an opinion.
Oh, I thought you said... Oh, Matt, what happened?
I just thought I'd try bathing me pelvis in hot tea. What do you think happened? I dropped the bloody cup and saucer into my lap, didn't I?
Oh, honestly. Let me...
Don't start dabbing at me, woman. Get Alexis. Tell him I need another pair of trousers and... Oh, hell.
Exactly. Alexis is out of commission at the moment.
Still in bed, is he?
He has got a broken leg.
It's bloody marvellous, isn't it? If he hadn't been larking about on that escalator and showing off, he wouldn't have broken his flipping leg.
Now, stop grumbling and let me help. Get those wet things off.
No, I can manage.
Of course you can't manage by yourself. Don't be silly.
Well, I'll ring through to the plant and get Bill to help me.
You'll do nothing of the sort. Bill's working flat out already trying to cope without Alexis. How do you suppose they're managing in the freezer plant when they're one man short? You can't drag Bill away just because you want to change your trousers.
But you're all ready to go out.
I'm only going over to the restaurant. Another 5 minutes won't hurt. Now stop fussing and let me do it.
Oh, always the same. Nobody's ever there when they're needed.
Lift yourself up a bit. Move yourself or I can't manage. Oh, that's better.
How much longer is Alexis going to be laid up, did the doctor say?
Well, he wouldn't commit himself, but he's going to be in that plaster cast for a while yet, so he might as well get used to the idea. You are not going to be waited on hand and foot every minute of the day. It's going to be a problem for the next week or so. I can't be here all the time.
Yeah, I know.
And Bill can't keep rushing in every 5 minutes. We're going to have to come to some other arrangement.
Well, okay. There's no need to go on and on about it. Making me feel I'm being a drag on the whole operation.
You know I didn't mean that. Right, well, I'll go and find you another pair of trousers.
Thanks. I'll tell you one thing, though. I'm glad it was you that helped me and not Bill.
Oh? Why?
Whenever he comes in from working at the freezer plant, his hands are always perishing cold.
And then the man from the Gourmet Club called in to see you, Lynn.
Oh, no, he would have to come today, wouldn't he?
Yeah, we asked him if he'd mind waiting. I gave him a cup of tea and a piece of Rob's Black Forest Gatto as a bribe.
Oh, damn. I did want to talk to him, too.
He stayed till about 5:15. You only just missed him.
Only you did say you'd be here by 4:30.
Well, I meant to, Sophie, but you know how it is with the best laid plans. Matt had a cup of tea as well just before I left. Only he managed to upset it in his lap.
Oh, no.
Well, I know it doesn't sound like one of the epic disasters, but by the time I'd calmed him down and got him into some dry clothes and made another pot of tea, well, it all took rather longer than I'd expected.
I bet.
I suppose you've heard about Alexis.
On the escalator.
Yes.
Yes, Rob told me. How is he?
He's not exactly the most patient invalid in the world. And what with him and Matt, it's been quite a day.
Yeah, well, couldn't Bill help out?
Bill's got his work cut out running the freezer. Now Alexis is laid up. He and the chef have got to try and run the whole operation between them, and it's no joke.
Yeah, but what are you going to do?
Well, I thought I might see if I could find a male nurse. Someone who specialises in home nursing, just for a week or two, till Alexis is up and about again.
Well, I hope you find somebody good. He's going to need to be a...
Very long suffering. What you were going to say?
Well, Matt doesn't exactly suffer fools gladly, does he?
That's one way of putting it.
Lynn, if it's any help, I could probably cope for a while.
You?
Well, I mean part-time. When I've got my hours off from the restaurant, I could pop over to the old bakery and lend a hand.
Well, that's very noble of you. Why should you give up your free time?
I'd be glad to. I feel a bit responsible anyhow. It would help clear my conscience.
Why on earth should you feel responsible for Matt?
No, not for Matt, for Alexis. When we were on that escalator, I'm afraid I was egging him on a bit to show off. Seemed to be funny at the time. Don't know why.
I see. All the same, you mustn't feel you have to offer.
No, I'd like to, honestly. If you think Matt would put up with me.
Well, I'm sure he'd be delighted, if you really don't mind.
Glad to be able to help. Oh, by the way, I took the phone number of that chap from the Gourmet Club, and I promised you'd call him back tomorrow morning. Here you are.
Oh, marvellous. I don't know what we'd do without you. Do you, Sophie?
No, I don't know either.
So I was left clutching a cup of tea again.
Milton made you wait for him twice.
Well, he said he was going to sign some letters, and then somebody rang up and he got sidetracked.
Well, why couldn't he have signed the letters then and there at his own desk? Why did he have to go into his secretary's office?
Well, you know, I wondered about that too. But anyway, you didn't let me finish. You haven't heard the payoff. When he came back, it was all totally different. No longer one of his slaves, I was his oldest and dearest friend. He agreed to everything.
Everything? Dropping the 3 months' notice?
Well, not dropping it exactly, but he's prepared to settle for 2 months. 1 month to find someone to take over from me, and the second month so I can brief them during the handover period.
Oh, well, that's good news anyhow. Are you going to phone Nicola?
Oh, I already have. And tomorrow morning I'll call in the heads of department and make my formal announcement to them.
They're not going to like it.
I wonder. I thought Milton wasn't going to like it either.
You said he didn't at first.
No, I said he was cagey at first. That's not the same thing. Now, afterwards, he jumped at it with suspicious alacrity. I think he was rather pleased, really.
Well, we always knew he was crazy. He must be. You're the best editor the Herald ever had. Where's he going to find anyone half as good to
Might
take
I
over?
suggest, my darling, that you might be the tiniest bit biased? Besides, he'd obviously got all that worked out.
Oh?
Well, isn't it obvious? You know he's always been hand in glove with Maurice.
I'm not serious. You don't really think he'd promote Morris to your job?
Why not? It's just what Milton's always wanted.
Oh, no, I don't believe it. Morris is much too hot-headed. He'd never make an editor.
Well, I wouldn't take any bets on it.
Well, in any case, don't they have to advertise a vacancy like that? Milton can't just jockey his own choice into the job, surely.
He could. We'll just have to wait and see. A table for two for 8:30. Yes, sir, certainly. And the name? Henderson. Yes, Mr. Henderson. Looking forward to seeing you. Goodbye. Can you put that in the book, Sophie? Henderson, table 6, 8:30.
What?
Henderson, number 6, 8:30.
Oh, sorry, yes. Henderson, 6:30.
Here, I'll do it. What's the matter with you? What are you doing, anyway?
Oh, Lynn asked me to change all the menus. The sole Veronique is now sole Mornay. Chef ran out of grapes.
Oh, for goodness sake, it hasn't taken you a quarter of an hour just to correct a few menus, surely.
No, not really. I was, just thinking about Matt.
Oh, what about him?
About you volunteering to go round there and help him. You know, doing Alexis's job.
Why shouldn't I? Somebody's got to. And rather me than some male nurse who doesn't know Matt's little ways.
All the same. Won't it be difficult for you?
Why?
Well, I couldn't help thinking. Dressing him, bathing him, and I don't know, all that. And after what you said the other night, you know, when you told me about...
Sophie, what are you on about?
Well, I only thought, well, I know it'd be difficult for me if I had to go and look after somebody like... Well, somebody like Bill, for instance.
Are you trying to say I ought not to look after Matt because I'm gay? Is that it?
I didn't mean it like that exactly.
What did you mean, then? Look, love, you had a thing going with Bill, okay? So that might make it difficult for you. But I don't have any hang-ups about Matt. I don't fancy him. I just like the bloke. That's all. And he needs a bit of help, so I offered. Don't you understand that?
Well, yes, but
No, you don't. Of course you don't. I wish to God I'd never told you. I must have been round the twist. Why the hell did I have to go and open my big mouth?
Morning, Mike. Is this a good time to bother you?
Morning, Shirley. Well, it's as good a time as any. What can I do for you?
Well, Doug wants you to look over these estimates on future costs. And if they're all right, he says, could you initial each page down in the corner, just there, please?
Now, when you say future costs...
Well, they're provisional figures for the next financial year, based on the last 3 years and taking into account rising prices and the cost of living index.
Next year, eh? Well, quite honestly, I'm not sure if I should...
Mike, can I... Oh, sorry, you're busy. Hello, Shirley.
That's okay. Dickon, come on in.
It wasn't anything urgent. I just wanted to say, well, sorry you're going, but if that's what you've decided, then the best of luck.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Came as a real bolt from the blue, I must say. Last thing anyone expected.
Yes, me too. But a change is a good thing.
Excuse me, did you say something about going?
Oh, I'm sorry, Shirley. I was about to tell you. I made an official announcement to the editorial staff, and there's a memo going round to the other departments. I've given them my notice. I'm going to take up a job in Bath, editing a monthly magazine.
Oh, I didn't realise.
And that's why I'm not sure it's really up to me to initial these figures for the next 12 months. Maybe you'd better tell Doug to hang on until they appoint the new editor.
When will that be?
Well, any time now. Milton Monk's already looking for someone.
But when you said you're going to take a job in Bath, does that mean you...
It means I'll be putting the house up for sale, yes. Obviously, I want to come and talk things over with you and Cliff. But you've got nothing to worry about, of course. You're sitting tenants. Whatever happens, you're safe in the basement flat.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well. Do I have to join the queue?
Oh, come in, Maurice.
I thought I'd be the first to offer my congratulations, but I see you've been pimped at the post.
Thanks, Maurice.
Oh, it's great news. I'm very glad for you.
I was just saying we're all going to miss him.
Oh, sure. It'll mean a lot of changes. That's really what I wanted to talk to you about, Mike.
Oh?
I've got a few ideas I'd like to put forward before you leave. Points for the future that might be worth considering.
You mean for whoever takes over the shop?
That's right, aye. Whoever it is. There are some things I want to suggest, minor changes in the organisation, things that might be worth discussing anyhow.
Well, I can see you're never going to have time to look at these figures this morning.
Well, not right away. Look, tell Doug I'll come down and see him later, okay?
Will do.
I'll come with you, Shirley. I have some expenses to file.
Oh, thanks, Dickon. I've got quite a lot on my plate at the moment.
That's true enough. Aye, there's a lot of things to be considered. And, as I say, I do have a few notions of my own.
Yes, well, we were just saying it's all happened so suddenly. But you seem to have adjusted to the idea pretty rapidly.
Oh, well, aye, that's what comes of being brought up at the back end of Glasgow. You learn to think fast.
Yes. Yes, I suppose you do.
I can't imagine the Herald without Mike. Can you, Liz?
No. And I'm not sure I want to.
What do you mean?
Well, a good editor sets the tone of a newspaper, doesn't he? Not only the stuff that gets printed, in the office as well.
And you're afraid this team won't be the same under someone new?
Oh, well, just call me a natural pessimist and leave it at that. Oh, hello, what's this?
Oh, sorry. It's a telephone message. I meant to tell you. Came through first thing.
Lady Thackeray? Goodness, I am being favoured.
She's the other daughter, isn't she? The sister of the one you interviewed?
Thelma Goff, yes, that's right. Sylvia Thackeray is the successful one. I suppose she's ringing to complain about the interview.
Well, you can tell her there are always two sides to every story.
Thank you, Dickon. You're a great comfort to me. Now, what's the number? I can't read the last figure.
It's meant to be a 7.
Ah. Well, if Lady Thackeray shows signs of turning ugly, I shall hand her over to you, and you can placate her with your... Oh, it's ringing.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Good luck.
No, don't run away.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Warner, Liz Warner of the Hampstead Herald. I'd like to speak to Lady Thackeray, please. I'm sorry. I think there must be some mistake. I'm returning her call. She rang earlier and left a message. What? I see. Well, in that case, I can only... Hello? Hello? Well, how'd you like that? She's hung up on me.
She?
Well, not her ladyship, some snooty housekeeper by the sound of her. It appears, since Lady Thackeray telephoned, she's changed her mind and does not now wish to speak to me after all.
Oh, sulking, perhaps.
Oh, more than likely. Either that or else she's calmed down and decided it was all a storm in the teacup.
Well, I don't suppose it was your interview that annoyed her anyway. It was more likely that nasty little paragraph in Junior's Spellgroves column.
Liz?
Yes, Maurice?
When you've got a moment, Mike would like to have a word with you.
Well, thanks for coming in so promptly. I explained at the meeting my reasons for resigning, so I don't have to go through all that again.
Mike, before you go any further, let me say something. It sounds like a wonderful opportunity for you, and so, of course, I'm very happy about that. But as for the Herald, I think it's a terrible pity.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. I appreciate it.
No, I mean it. When you go, the paper's bound to have a totally new style, a new approach.
Well, yes, and I should hope that the Herald would benefit from that. They're a pretty shaky organisation if it couldn't survive a change of editor.
All right. So I'm an old-fashioned conservative.
Oh, I'd never describe you like that.
No, not politically. I mean, I like the Herald the way it is. What you've made of it.
The time is definitely right for some changes. But, of course, a lot depends on who the new editor will be.
Well, I don't suppose there's much doubt about that, is there? He'll just move into your chair amid general rejoicing.
You mean Morrish?
Well, who else? He's one of Milton Monk's bright lads, and he's always been ambitious.
I certainly think Morrice will apply for it, yes. But the job has got to be advertised. There'll be a good many people putting in applications.
I suppose so. Well, I'll just keep my fingers crossed.
You and Morrice have never really hit it off, have you?
Let's say we respect one another and we keep our distance. In fact, we work together pretty well, all things considered. But the thought of having to work for him, having Maurice tell me what to do...
It needn't necessarily be like that, you know.
You mean he won't automatically get the job?
Well, the new editor doesn't even have to be a man, does he?
A woman editor? On a big weekly paper?
That's not unknown. In fact, that's really why I called you in, Liz. I want to put forward an idea.
Go on.
When Milton invites applications for the post, how about you putting in for it?
What's wrong with it, Maurice? Did I put in too much salt?
Sorry? What did you say?
The casserole. I know I overdid the seasoning a bit.
No, it's fine. Very tasty. Actually, it's fabulous.
You've hardly touched it.
I'm enjoying it. It's just, I was thinking about something else.
It'll get cold.
Where's that bit of paper? I just want to make a couple of notes while they're fresh in my mind.
Can't you do that later?
No, it won't take me a second. Only if I don't jot them down right away, I might forget. I've had this idea for reshaping the whole of the newsroom staff, changing the setup.
Just tell me one thing. Is it going to be like this all the time from now on?
What do you mean?
It was bad enough before, but now you're just living with that damn newspaper every minute of the day.
Oh, sorry. But it's on my mind, you see. We can improve the efficiency of the reporting team 100% if
No, tell me later, Maurice. Finish your supper first, eh?
Yeah. Sorry, Cressy. I'm being a crashing bore, aren't I? But you see, I've never had an opportunity like this before. I mean, there was the Newbury job, but this...
You really think you're going to get it, don't you?
Well, let's say I stand a better chance than anyone else. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I suppose so.
As soon as Mike finished making his little speech to us all this morning, I went and typed out my formal application and posted it off to Milton Monk.
That was the letter you were working on yesterday evening, wasn't it?
What do you mean?
I saw some of the efforts you'd started and torn up.
Well, I believe in being prepared.
You knew about it before Mike made his announcement, didn't you?
Cressy, don't ask difficult questions, eh?
In other words, Milton had already...
All I can say is, I have every reason to hope that my application will be considered favourably. Right?
Yes, I see.
Be happy for me, Cressy, eh? This could be the best thing that ever happened in my life.
Best thing?
Professionally speaking, I mean. The very best thing that ever happened to me was you.
Panic over. It was only Jane yelling because her teddy had fallen under the bed and she thought she'd lost him.
Oh, good. Settled down again, did she?
Yeah, she was only half awake. By the way, I just remembered, wasn't this the evening you were going to go to the boat yard? Didn't you say something to Mr. Tully?
Oh, I didn't say any special evening, darling.
Yes, but you did promise him you'd give him a hand with those accounts.
Well, I'll probably go tomorrow night. One day more or less won't make any difference.
Well, if you're sure.
Darling, I'm not going to go out tonight and leave you on your own.
Well, I'm not on my own. I can always watch the telly with Arthur.
You know what I mean. After Mike suggesting you should try for the editorship, I don't want to leave you wrestling with that all by yourself.
You're a nice man, Mr. Tyson.
Well, not nice, actually. Practical. We've got to talk about it, haven't we?
Well, I don't think for a minute I'd guess it anyhow. I don't suppose Milton Monk would even consider employing a female editor.
No, he's got to consider it. It'd be sexual discrimination if he doesn't.
Oh, he wouldn't say that was the objection. But he'd make jolly sure there was some other reason for turning you down.
Liz, Mike wouldn't take the trouble to suggest it if he didn't think you were in with a chance.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. But I don't even know if I'd be any good at it.
Well, you're a very good woman's page editor. It's only a difference in scale, surely.
No, it's not. It's a whole new world. There'll be a million different things to learn. Things I never had to think about before.
Liz, do you want to do it?
Well, I really don't know. It's all so complicated. I mean, think of it from the family point of view. My work keeps me busy enough as it is. If I were the editor of the Herald, you'd see even less of me than you do now.
Darling, we'd manage. You know we would.
I know you would. But it's not really fair to you. And it's not fair to the children.
Is it what you want?
Yes. If things were different, I'd like to take a crack at it, but...
Oh, but nothing. Listen to me. I think you should apply for the job.
Well, I'm sure I wouldn't get it anyway.
Then you've got nothing to lose by trying. And if you did get it, I'll do everything I can to help make it work. I'll support you every way I possibly can. You know that.
Oh, Peter. Yes, I do know that. Thank you.
Party of 6 at 10 o'clock. The name's Howard.
Right, I'll make a note of it. Hello, is that our 8 o'clock booking just coming in?
Where? No, I don't think so.
Oh, seems to be on his own, whoever he is. I better go and... Hey, he's smiling at you. Friend of yours?
No, he's not. I have met him once.
Oh. Well, one of us had better do something about him, shall I?
Oh, it's okay, I'll see to him. Good evening, sir.
Hi.
Can I help you?
I certainly hope so.
Could I have a table for one, please?
Yes, of course. May I take your coat?
Thank you. I didn't telephone, I'm afraid. Decided to drop in on the spur of the moment.
As it happens, we're not very busy this evening, sir. Won't be any problem. Will this table here suit you?
Great. You don't remember, do you? We've met before, you and I.
Really, sir?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. You're called Rob. You came to a show way back, last autumn sometime.
Ah, yes. Now you mention it, I think I do remember your face. Mr. Rowland?
Rocky Rowland. You came with Joanna Nash, right? How's that for a keen memory?
Full marks, Mr. Rowlands. I'll bring you the menu. Would you care for an aperitif first?
Give me a vodka martini, would you? A large one, very dry. Oh, and the name's Rocky, by the way. Rob and Rocky. We ought to have something in common.
Really? Ice and lemon in your vodka martini, sir?
No, thanks. Freeze the glass. And stop trying to put me down, Rob. It's a very happy coincidence running into you again like this. Oh, don't you think so?
I'm afraid I haven't given it a lot of thought, sir. I'll fetch the menu for you.
What's the matter?
Give him a menu while I get him a drink.
Sure. What are you looking like that for? Don't you like him?
He's a real charmer, that one, and he knows it, too.
Who is he?
Rocky Rowlands. He's in the rag trade. Joanna Nash works for him.
You mean he's the Rocky Rowlands? Double R and all that?
I mean, he's as slippery as a pair of eels. Double E and all that.
Come on, Jeremy. Turn that light out and settle down.
Oh, Mummy, just one more page.
You always say that.
I've just got to the really exciting part.
It'll be just as exciting tomorrow. Now, come along, shut the book up. There's a good boy. Have you cleaned your teeth?
Yes, of course I have.
Sure?
I told you. Oh, sorry.
You see, you are sleepy. Have you said your prayers?
I've said them to myself.
Right.
Mummy?
Good night, darling. Sleep well.
But I want to ask you something first.
Why is it every night when it's time to go to sleep you always remember something you want to ask me?
No, but this is different. It's important. Please, Mum.
All right, then. Just one question.
It's about Daddy.
What about him?
Well, you know you and Bill were talking about getting somebody else to work at the freezer plant because you're all so busy.
Yes?
Well, do you think perhaps Dad would like to do that?
No, I shouldn't think so for a minute, Jeremy.
But you could ask him, couldn't you?
Darling, it's not his sort of job. He'd hate it.
I don't see why. I think it's a very good sort of job. I'd do it if they'd let me.
Yes, but... Well, in any case, Daddy doesn't want a job. He's got plenty to do at home looking after the family, while Liz is working at the Herald.
That was only like, well, sort of temporary. He said so.
What?
I heard him talking to Mr. Tully at the boatyard. He said he felt like going out and getting a real job again. A proper one.
He said that, did he? But honestly, darling, he wouldn't want to come and work here. He'd go and find something like the job he had before at Abercrombie's.
I suppose so. I just wish he'd hurry up about it, that's all.
What do you mean?
Well, I'd like him to go out to work every day, properly, like everybody else. All the boys at school have dads who go out to work.
Another brandy and some more coffee.
Bully for him. He can afford it.
Yes, I know, but, well, the thing is he wants you to serve him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look, shall I tell him you're too busy?
It's not going to be very convincing on a quiet night like this. Oh, blimey, I better go and sort him out, I suppose.
Well, here you are. One brandy and the coffee pot.
Thank you. Your brandy, sir, and your coffee.
Fabulous. You know that old saying about service with a smile? I'm not complaining, mind. The service has been really great, but couldn't you crack that stonewall face for a minute and come out with a little grin, maybe?
For you, sir? Certainly.
Don't strain yourself. Hey, listen, now that you're not so busy, why don't you fetch another glass and have a brandy with me, okay?
I'm sorry, sir. That's against our house rules.
Oh, come on. Sit down. Look, do me a favor, will you? Look, I'm sick to death of my own company. I feel like talking to somebody.
I'm very sorry, sir. Some other time, perhaps.
Oh, that's an idea. Some other time, like later on, you mean? What time do you finish work here?
11:30, midnight, later than that sometimes.
You name it. I'll be waiting outside my car.
No, sir. It's very kind of you, but when I finish work, I'll be going straight home.
Listen, you want to know something? I lied to you when I came in. I said I'd come in here by accident. Meeting you was a coincidence. Well, that wasn't strictly true.
Mr. Rowlands, I really am
Don't go away. Just let me finish. I'll tell you the whole sad little story. I was supposed to be meeting somebody tonight in this neck of the woods, and, well, my date didn't show. I suddenly remembered Pryor's restaurant. Joanna told me you worked here, and, well, I really took a liking to you that first time we met, Rob. Felt sure we'd meet again someday. What's wrong with keeping in touch with old friends?
Mr. Rowlands, we met once a long time ago and very briefly. I don't call that a basis for friendship. I'd say we were almost total strangers, and as far as I'm concerned, we can stay that way. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll fetch your bill.
What did I say?
Rob, what did you say to him?
I just stopped him getting any wrong ideas, that's all.
Oh, well, you certainly shook him. He looks awful.
Does he? That's his tough luck. Here, you can take him the bill.
You certainly took your time getting that lad off to sleep. What was the trouble?
No trouble. Hello, Bill.
Hello.
I just rang through to the freezer, called Bill over.
Quite right, too. I'm sure you've done enough work for one day.
Well, he's going to have to do a darn sight more the way things are going.
I've just made some coffee. Do you want a cup?
No, thanks, Bill. Matt, do you know what Jeremy's
Not now, love. Tell me later, eh? We've got a bit of a crisis on our hands.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, that's why I called Bill in. It's going to be a case of all hands to the pumps.
Matt's just had a phone call from your stepfather.
From Brad? Oh, how is he? You should have called me. Did you speak to Mother?
No, I didn't. It wasn't a social call. He rang up with a business proposition.
Oh, what was that?
Apparently, among all his other interests, he's got some kind of a tie-up with a company called McDonald Harker. Big international agency dealing in real estate.
I think I've heard of them. Haven't they got offices in that big tower block on the way to Swiss Cottage?
Ah, that's right. Employ about 500 people there, so he says.
They've been having trouble with their staff canteen. And what Brad suggests is that we should take over the whole catering franchise. Supply a selection of menus every day for lunch. All frozen here, so all they have to do is use their own microwave ovens.
What? Let me get this straight. They want us to cater for 500 lunches every day.
More or less. Well, it's what you might call an offer we can't refuse, isn't it?
But, Matt, the freezer plant's already working flat out.
We were talking today about having to take on extra staff to cope with the work we've already got.
That's why I called you both in. I don't care how we do it, but do it we must. Oh, bloody wars. You don't suppose I'd let a chance like this slip through my fingers, do you?
Look of him from the way he behaved. Well, I thought he was quite nice, really.
Oh, yes.
You know, he's very famous in the fashion world, rich and successful, but tonight he seemed friendly. And he's got a really nice smile.
That's your considered opinion, is it? He's got lovely dimples. Now, can we please talk about something else?
Sorry.
Dickon's not back yet, by the look of it.
No, well, perhaps he's working late. Or he could have gone round to see Debbie, I suppose.
I suppose so.
Rob, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be inquisitive.
It's all right, Sophie. Forget it. It's just that Mr. Rocky Rowlands isn't my favourite sort of person. He came to the restaurant tonight with just one thought in his mind. He had a date. His date let him down at the last minute. He remembered where I worked, and he came to pick me up instead. Only I didn't want to know.
No, well, you made that fairly obvious. I felt quite sorry for him.
Don't waste your sympathy, love. He'll have dozens more names and addresses in his book. I know what the sort of bloke he is.
Do you?
What do you think I am? Some sort of country bumpkin? I have been on the scene for a while, you know. I mean, I haven't just fallen off a Christmas tree.
Actually, I didn't know. I mean, from what you said, I wasn't quite sure
how involved I was on the gay scene. Well, let's just say I've met characters like Rocky Rowlands before, and I'm not impressed.
Oh, well. It was just that tonight he seemed so sort of...
Friendly?
Yes.
Oh, sure, that's one of his trump cards. Boyish, charming Rocky Rowlands, unspoilt by his success. Honestly, it makes me want to throw up. People like Rocky use people like me.
What do you mean?
And I'm never going to get caught up like that again.
Again?
Well, I've been through it. When I first came up to London, I thought, fantastic, the world's full of beautiful people, and for a...
Hello, the Wanderer returned.
Hello, Dickon.
Hi, Dickon.
I've been out in the story all the evening, opening of a new art centre. Civic reception, champagne, buffets, a lot. Matter of fact, I think I'm very slightly sloshed. What's the matter with you two?
Nothing's the matter. We only got in a few minutes ago ourselves.
Oh, I thought you looked a bit solemn. Something happened?
We were just talking, that's all.
Oh, well, don't let me interrupt you.
No, it wasn't anything important.
Yeah, I think I'll go and have a bath. Oh, maybe it'll clear my head a bit. Then I wouldn't mind a large cup of coffee if you're thinking of making some.
Okay, will do.
Good lad. Shan't be long.
You don't think he heard any of that, do you?
No, of course he didn't. Well, go on, tell me more.
You really want to know? All right, then.
Said I'd make him a hot drink.
I thought he'd gone to bed ages ago. Arthur never stays up this late.
Apparently he started to watch something on television. Dozed off in his chair. It wasn't until I went into the sitting room that he woke up and found himself sitting in front of the late-night weather report.
Dear, now I said he'll be feeling aggrieved.
Oh, I expect so.
He asked for a cup of cocoa. I said I'd take it off to his room. I'll probably get a little lecture about leaving him alone all the evening.
Well, it's not your fault if he nods off in front of the box.
No, but he's got to blame somebody. He's hardly going to write to the BBC.
I wouldn't put it past him. Oh, there you are, Arthur.
Elizabeth, I just thought I'd look in and say good night. I'm on my way up to bed.
Yes, Peter said. He's just made you some cocoa.
Oh, thank you so much, Peter. I'll take it with me, shall I?
Oh, I was going to bring it up to you, Father.
Oh, no, good heavens, no. I'm quite capable of carrying a cup and saucer without spilling it, my dear boy. I wouldn't dream of putting you to any extra trouble on my behalf.
You wouldn't?
Certainly not. I expect Peter told you that I fell asleep while I was watching that program.
Yes, he did say something about it.
Very stupid of me. But of course I blame you for it entirely.
Ah, I knew it.
You've both made me so very comfortable here. Settle me in the lap of luxury. It's small wonder if I drift off into slumber sometimes. You spoil me. You really do.
Well, as long as you're happy, Arthur.
My dear, I've never been happier. And I want you both to know how grateful I am to you for taking an old man into your home and putting up with him. I really appreciate it. More than I can say. Well, I wish you both a good night.
Good night, Father. Sleep well.
Oh, I'm sure I shall. I generally do nowadays. Good night.
Good night. That's the little lecture you mentioned.
I don't believe it. I simply don't believe it. I've never known him like this. It's all very sinister.
Do you mean he's suffering from some sort of brainstorm?
Well, that's what I thought at first. But now I believe it's much worse than that. He's up to his tricks again, Liz.
Oh, don't be so silly.
I'm telling you, I know that look in his eye. He's hatching some sort of plot.
And now you're letting your imagination run away with you.
All right? If you don't believe me, just you wait and see. I tell you, he's up to something.
And for a while, I really lived it up. I jumped in with both feet. Clubs, bars, parties every night. Oh, I thought I knew it all. That was before I met Marcus.
Marcus?
He was on the same circuit, and we started going round together, and then I made a big mistake.
What was that?
I fell for him. Hook, line, and sinker. I've never really been in love before that, you see. I was just playing at it. But when Marcus came along, it was the real thing. For me, I mean.
But not for him.
I thought it was at first. But it didn't last long. He was older than me. He worked in the theatre as a designer. Not all that different from Rocky Rowlands in some ways, I suppose. And like Rocky, he knew everybody. He was into the social whirl. That's what broke us up in the end. He got bored with me, and I got jealous. Then I discovered he was two-timing me. I thought it was the end of everything. Even threatened to kill myself at one point. I mean, how daft can you get?
Oh, Rob, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. It was a lesson I had to learn sooner or later. I know better now. I'll never make that mistake again.
Got falling in love?
Getting involved with the Marcuses of this world. Or the Rockies. Since then, I've dropped out of the scene. Kept right away from the whole lot of them. And thank goodness Priors doesn't give me much time to sit around feeling sorry for myself.
Oh, but you'll find someone else. I mean, one of these days.
Yeah, that's what I've been hoping. But I don't know. All I know is that if ever it happens again, it'd have to be somebody very different from Mr. Rocky Rowlands. Somebody honest, straightforward, uncomplicated.
Oh, that feels a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, still at it, you two?
Sorry, Dickon. Yes, I'm afraid we were.
Oh, what about that coffee?
Oh, sorry, I forgot all about that. Hang on, I'll do it now.
No, I'll make it. Do you want a cup, Sophie?
Oh, yes, fine, thanks.
Okay.
It must be very dim. I never realised.
Realised what?
Happy birthday, dear Daddy. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, so thank you very much.
Mum's making you a special birthday breakfast.
Oh.
She said she doesn't know what time you'll be home this evening.
Oh, yes, well, that's true. You know what Thursdays are like when I have to go to the printers.
I thought of putting candles on the marge, but I decided against it.
Just as well. You'll be hard put to it to make room for 50 candles.
50? Gosh, you must feel terribly old.
Watch it. Don't remind me. Say, look at all these cards and parcels.
Everybody sent you parcels. The one in the red paper's mine.
Ah, well, then I shall definitely open that first.
No, you've got to do the cards first. That's the rule.
Let the poor man celebrate his birthday how he likes to.
No, she's absolutely right. Carter. Now, this one's postmarked Chichester.
Oh, that'll be Aunt Dorothy. She's very good at remembering birthdays.
Yes. Yep, so it is, bless her heart. Yes, one from Bath as well. Now, how did Nicola know it was my birthday today?
Oh, it's not a card at all. It's a letter. What a swizz.
What does she want?
Well, it's a formal acknowledgement on behalf of her company. They're very pleased to know that I've accepted their offer. Provisional starting date Monday, March the 31st.
Exactly 2 months from today.
What's that for? Is it about your new book?
No, not really.
I thought Nicola was the lady you went to see about your writing.
Yes, that's true, but, she's added a postscript. She'd like us to go down to Bath again as soon as it's convenient to arrange all the details.
Oh, we'd have to anyway. There are 1,001 things to be done. Finding somewhere to
It's
live.
a question of schools, apart from anything else.
Schools? What are you talking about?
You thought you were going to give me some surprises today, did you, Sue? But as it happens, Mummy and I have got a surprise for you as well.
Something really rather special. Daddy's had some good news.
What sort of news?
Well, when we went to Bath, Nicola offered me a job. I'm going to be the editor of a monthly magazine. We're all going to move down there to live.
It's the most beautiful place, Sue. A really gorgeous city. Right in the heart of lovely countryside. You've always wanted to live in the country, haven't you?
What about the Herald?
Oh, well, I've given him my notice. I'll be finished with the Herald by the end of March.
And this house? What will happen to the house?
Oh, we'll sell it to somebody else. We'll find a new house for us, just the three of us. And a new school for you.
I've had an idea. Mike, when we go to Bath next time, we could take Sue with us, couldn't we?
Oh, of course we could. How about that, eh? Do you want to go house hunting?
When we go to Bath? Doesn't it sound silly? Going to Bath. A very stupid sort of name for a place, isn't it?
Darling, you'll love it when you get there. I know you will.
How do you know? I like living here.
All right. I heard you the first time. Good morning. Mr. Tyson?
Yes?
My name's Waller.
Oh, yes.
I'm from Cuthbertson and Price.
Oh, really?
I hope I'm not too early.
Early?
What? Our appointment. Mr. Cuthbertson said you'd wanted me on Thursday morning, but he didn't give me a time.
Look, what's all this about?
I'm sorry. I thought they'd put you in the picture. I'm here to measure you up.
Measure me up?
Yes. I've got to take all the dimensions, you see.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Waller. I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about. Are you sure you've come to the right house?
Oh, yes. You are Mr. Tyson.
Yes. Look, I suppose this must be something my wife has organized. You'd better come inside.
Thank you.
Now, I take it you're here to sell us something.
I wouldn't put it like that exactly. I understood you'd already been to the office and met our Mr. Cuthbertson. He told me you'd stated your requirements, so we need now your measurements, and then we can give you an estimate.
Look, I've never heard of your Mr. Cuthbertson. Measurements? Are you a tailor or something?
Hardly, Mr. Tyson. Cuthbertson and Price, builders and architects, my card. We specialize in house conversions.
Look, there's been some mistake, Mr. Waller. I don't want this house converted. I'm perfectly happy with it as it is.
Yes, but the new extension to go at the back above the kitchen, the new bedroom with private bath and toilet facilities.
A new bedroom? I never asked for any. Oh, no. I'm just beginning to understand.
I knew I hadn't got it wrong. I have all the details here. Minden Road, proposed extension, as requested by Mr. Arthur Tyson. That is you, isn't it?
Morning, Liz.
Hello, Dickon. Sorry, I can't stop and talk now. I just got to finish concocting these notes.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Eh?
I've been sent to tell you you're wanted. Orders from the chief.
What do you mean?
Mike wants to see you in his office right away.
Mike does, but it's Thursday. He should be on his way to the printers by now.
He's got his coat on, but he wants to see you first.
Oh, no. Is it really urgent?
From the look of him, I'd say it was pretty important.
Oh.
You know what he's been like lately? Cheerful, smiling, sort of more relaxed.
Yes.
Well, he's not smiling now.
Yes. Oh, come in, Liz.
Right.
Shut the door, will you?
Dickon said you wanted to see me.
Yes. I hope this won't take too long. Can't keep the printers waiting. But I've had a phone call from Milton. I thought you ought to know.
Milton? What about?
Your article on Monica Ridley. Lady Thackeray's been on to him.
He's on the warpath.
Waggoners Walk was written by Peter Ling and directed by John Cardy and Penny Lester. You can hear the Waggoners Walk Omnibus each Sunday at 2 minutes past 5. And don't forget to listen to the next episode of Waggoners Walk. That's tomorrow at 5 past 5 here on Radio 2.